You're listening to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. This episode brought to you by the Easy Home Buyer, serving the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. If you're an investor in the greater Spokane area looking to connect with wholesalers, look no further than the Easy Home Buyer. Click on the link in the show notes to be put on their buyer list today, and check out episode 17 with the Easy Home Buyer founder, Chad Young. And by FlexiSpot, the maker of ergonomic furniture. If you're looking for a new adjustable desk, look no further than the E7 standing desk. The retractable frame allows you to adjust the desk's width from 43.4 inches out to 74.8 inches. So you can have a desk that is over 6 feet long that adjusts in height to fit the needs of your space and office. Save $20 now with the offer code WSE720 at checkout. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Udick. In today's episode, I chat with Brandon Bateman, a digital marketer focused on supporting wholesalers. There are so many parts to digital marketing today. Where should you market? Who should you market to? How do you grow your buyer list if you are a wholesaler? And if you are an investor, how do you make sure you get on the right wholesaler list to meet your needs? That brings me to today's investor highlight. I've been in technology world for a long time. In my day-to-day job, I'm an educational technology consultant, supporting schools and educators in using technology with students. One thing that I tell educators, and I think holds true for everyone, is to be thinking, do I feel like I work for technology, or does technology work for me? If you feel like you are constantly frustrated by technology, then it probably means one of two things. One, you need a system in place to support you in using the technology, or two, it's the wrong technology. Oftentimes, I find we have the right technology, but we don't put systems into place to make it work seamlessly. Next thing you know, you're spending hours on something that was supposed to save you time and energy. There are all sorts of technologies to support us in the real estate investing journey. I thought I would highlight some of my favorite tools that I use on a daily basis. My first tool, Google Workspace for Business. Full disclosure, I've been a fan of the Google platform for a very long time, and I am a Google certified trainer. I find that their tools, whether it be forms, their spreadsheets, or their email, Gmail, it's just a very powerful system when you set it up to work for you. If you or your office is a Google Workspace business and you would like to have some training, feel free to reach out. It's what I do. Stessa.com is number 2. I'm a big fan of Stessa. I really like Stessa. And as a free service for me to manage all my properties, see my finances all in one place, I think it's as good as it gets. And it's getting better. You know, QuickBooks is so expensive and it isn't really real estate focused. Stessa.com is for real estate investors. It does one thing and it does it very well. And it's free. The price is right. The third tool is the Marco Polo app on cell phones. This one I have to give credit to our contractor for. When we hired him, he wanted to use the app to communicate, and seeing that we live across the state from the rentals he's working on, it was perfect. When he has questions about something, he can actually show us what he's talking about. We can see the problem and then come up with a game plan to solve it. Such a great way to communicate when video is needed, free and simple to use. I'll have links to all 3 of these tools in the show notes for you to go and check out. I'd also love to hear some of your favorite technologies that you use in running your real estate business. Leave a comment on this episode at wsreip.com or any other place comments are accepted across all social media platforms. I always love finding new programs that can help technology work for me instead of me working for it. And that brings me to today's guest, Brandon Bateman. Brandon started a digital marketing company as a sophomore in college and never looked back. After volunteering to do digital marketing for companies, he started the Bateman Collective and is now the premier digital marketing company for wholesalers across the country. Bateman Collective handles all digital marketing, from SEO to PPC to Facebook and Instagram ads, as well as design and create content for all those platforms as well. If you are a wholesaler or real estate agent, you're going to get a lot out of this conversation with Brandon. And with that, on with the show. All right, welcome back to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm excited to have Brandon Bateman here with me today to talk all about digital marketing, focused specifically on wholesaling, those that might be in the flip and fix world. Brandon, welcome to the podcast. If you can give us just a little bit about your background and what you're doing in real estate today.
Yeah, of course. More than happy to share it. Thank you for having me on the show, Jeff. So what I do is motivated seller lead generation. My company works with wholesalers and flippers across over 100 markets across the United States. Through our marketing efforts, our clients are on track to find about 2,400 deals this year from over 70,000 leads, and it works out to 50 something million in wholesale assignment fees. So that's what we do. Lots of lead generation. As for what I do myself in real estate, I love investing passively in deals that my clients bring to me. And that is the extent of what I do. I stay in my lane of digital marketing. I'm not actually that good at anything else. So that's the full scope of what I do.
Hey, being a passive investor is not a bad place to be, for sure, when it comes to real estate. Well, I'm excited to have you on as somebody who's in the technology field himself. It's always fun to be able to get on it and geek out a little bit about technology and digital marketing today. Let's start with some wholesalers. Is in your world, or what are you seeing when we talk about a good digital marketing campaign? Do you see digital marketing replacing the old, tried and true driving for dollars around neighborhoods, finding distressed homes? Do you have any data on, is it replacing it? Is it something that wholesalers need to add to what they're already doing to find leads? What's kind of going on that you're seeing right now in the business?
Yeah, that's a really good question. What I would say personally is that the old way, so to speak, is still fully viable. I mean, motivated sellers, they use their phones. They're open to being cold called. They'll answer their door. If you want to door knock them, they probably read their mail for now. Although I'd say all of those channels are on some level kind of decreasing. Phones and texting with like TCPA regulations and direct mail just being something that I guess is decreasing in popularity over time as postage goes up and more of those people who are really heavy on checking their mail start to age out. So digital marketing, I wouldn't say that it replaces those channels, because the reality is there's a lot of people that you're going to find that are motivated sellers that you're going to find through those methods. But there's a whole nother group of people that you're going to find through digital marketing means that you wouldn't be able to find through those methods. Most of our clients are using digital marketing in conjunction with everything else they're doing. And in some ways, they kind of work together. Although here's the really interesting statistic, and I apologize, I don't have the exact number here, but a shocking percentage of our clients' deals aren't even on their other lists. Like, we have clients that just go crazy hard with mailers. They send 150, 200,000 mailers every month, and they get all these deals from digital marketing. They're like, that person they weren't on my list.
Interesting.
You'd be surprised how many of these people. So it's a completely different way, right? Because this whole driving for dollars concept implies that you can predict the likelihood of someone selling their house based on what their house looks like. A lot of this other list-based stuff says you can predict based on their tax situation, like are they tax delinquent, or based on if they're going into probate, or whatever the situation is. What digital marketing suggests is that you can predict based on other factors, online factors. Like, for example, what does someone type into a search engine? Turns out that can be really predictive of if they're likely to sell their house or not as well. And it can be kind of an independent signal of that motivation that doesn't exist on these other lists.
And let's talk about that for a second, because as soon as you say that, I'm thinking about Facebook ads. As somebody who's ran Facebook ads himself, I don't know if people understand how specific you can get around targeting audience, based on age, gender, what they search, what they have in their profile, what they've liked. Can you maybe talk a little bit about some of the power that you have in digital marketing to exactly what you were saying? Like, we can look at what people are searching or what they're liking or what they're reading, and how that plays into the algorithms that allow you to do digital marketing?
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that digital marketing platforms have a lot of data about people.
Yeah.
look at the news, look at all this different stuff. It's kind of funny, Google's one of those companies where we see Google as the search engine. I was talking to someone the other day that so it's kind of second form connection, but they had this person that they worked with that worked at Google for 9 years. And what Google told their people that worked at the company at that time was like, our mission is to collect and organize all of the world's data. Like that's what they are. They're a data company. Facebook also is a data company. Facebook has over 2,000 data points on every single user. Google, you add a couple zeros to that. That's how many data points they have on every user. And this is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of that data that a lot of wholesalers are using to target. But in addition to that, it's like credit card payments history and what they purchased. And it's like based on Google knowing, because you have Google Maps on your phone, based on them knowing where you go, they might understand that you're in market for a car because you physically visited a car dealership. It can be data from the different websites that you visit, because Google and Facebook's tracking pixels are on almost every single website in the world. And then Google adds on this different layer of intent. What someone types into Google as a search is very predictive of their future behavior. If someone searches for a way to sell their house as is, they probably have a house that's in poor condition and they probably want to sell it, right? So there's different, there's tons of different data, and you can target by that data online. And then beyond that, and this is even more powerful, you can use the algorithms that these companies themselves have created to help you target with that data. So a lot of this, it's not like we're in some like back office with 15 screens and some weird like control room turning these dials. And if you've ever seen The Social Dilemma, that's what they make it look like. Facebook advertising. But it's not like that. But it's more like, for example, we might show ads to people on Facebook. Some people are going to want to click and they're going to want to convert. They're going to turn to leads and they might turn into deals. And we feed that information to Facebook. And then Facebook starts to learn and notice the commonalities amongst those people, and then algorithmically find more people similar to them based on thousands of features that are available for each person. So anyways, it can go so deep. But the point is, this is really powerful stuff that just other channels that we use just can't touch what some of these digital platforms can do.
I love that. As we kind of keep talking about that, what are 3 key aspects of digital marketing you think wholesalers should keep in mind right now? If you had to name, like, what are your top 3 things that wholesalers need to be thinking about?
Well, I'd say there's 3 channels that we use a lot more than anything else. I mean, there's a really, really long list of potential digital marketing channels you can use. There's a few that are really tried and true in this industry. So to summarize those are Google PPC, Facebook ads, and SEO. So 2 of those you can find in Google or other similar search engines. It's a search engine results page. Like if I were to search something on Google right now, the first thing that's going to show up is advertisements. Those ads are what's called PPC, pay-per-click advertisements. If I click on one of those, what happens is whoever runs that ad has to pay Google for my click. And that's how it works. It's an auction-based system. They say they're willing to pay this much. If it's a high enough number, Google throws you up there. And then when you get clicks, you pay them. So that's PPC. So it's the cool thing about PPC is it's a search-based marketing solution. So the people that you find have intent. They were looking for you. That's not true for anything else that you do. And when it comes to wholesalers marketing, there is no other other channel than search engines where you can get that factor of like people actually actively coming to you. It's as inbound as it gets. And you can just pay and get right to the top there. SEO, on the other hand, is lower on the page. It's after the paid ads. If you look at what does Google do as a company, Google's whole job is when you search something, they want to be able to give you your answer, give you something relevant, give you something that's useful. So if you search like sell my house fast, you're going to see there's probably billions of billions of web pages on the internet that Google considers relevant to that. But there's one of them that shows up first, and another one that shows up second, another one that shows up third. And what makes those ones that show up at the top different from the ones that show up way down further is how well of a job they've done convincing Google that they are relevant to what you searched and that they are authoritative and they deserve to show up there. And they don't pay when you click. They don't pay Google to be there. That's right. That's just Google doing its job, trying to find the best answer to whatever question. And that's SEO.
Yeah. And SEO stands for search engine optimization for those of you that don't know what it is. But there's ways that you can do that with your web page to just make it more user friendly as well. And then the third one, of course, is Facebook ads, which we already talked about. Can you talk a little bit about what your company does to support real estate wholesalers, flip and fix real estate investors. What do you do to support them in this digital marketing world?
So what we do, you could call it a done for you service, where everybody wants to to build their lead flow, just like how you can build your list in direct mail, and you can do your driving for dollars, and you can create what your postcard is going to be and send the mail and track the results and optimize it over time. Same thing exists for all these digital marketing channels. There's a whole bunch of different things. So what we manage is pretty much everything up until the point that the lead is generated. We will create and design ads. We will design the targeting. We will manage the data, the tracking, drive the traffic, generate the leads, input those leads into your CRM, and then from there you
take over.
It's your job to do acquisitions, dispositions, fix and flip, whatever you want to do. So that's in general, our clients don't usually have to know a ton about this stuff. We'll take care of a lot of the stuff. We have clients with a wide variety of things. Like, we've worked with people that have been managing their own digital marketing campaigns internally for years, and then they just want to outsource it, or they know that someone else could do better than them that has more data. And we work with people who hardly know how to access their own email address and don't know the first thing about the internet. And they just know that these channels are powerful and they have to get in touch with these sellers, and we can make it work in either circumstance.
Yeah. Do you find on the lead generation side, are you able to target, and I just wonder this because of the other work that I do. So my other job is I'm an educational consultant. We're talking all the time about technology with this generation today. And I'm wondering, when you're doing things like, you're identifying things that are specifically, you're writing ads for Google versus you're writing ads for Facebook, knowing the different generations that are on different platforms, does that somehow influence the way you write the ads, the way you're targeting specific words based on the generation? For example, we'll use Facebook. For example, we know that the majority of people now that are on Facebook and are heavy users of Facebook are ages 50 and older. Are we looking at some of the ways that, is that some of the work that your company does, is looking at, look, we know how to target these different generations and what they're looking for when they want to sell their house fast, keywords that they might put into a search engine or be looking for in their Facebook ads?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's definitely multiple layers to it. The first part being the platform of choice. Like, we definitely spend a lot more money on Facebook, for example, than Instagram. The reason being because of the demographics. Right. Motivated sellers tend to be more commonly on Facebook. We do not have ads written for like the older demographic, and then also ads written for the younger demographic or something like that. It's actually with believe it or not, a lot of those things are restricted right now on Facebook when it comes to targeting by age group.
Interesting.
You can do it for most businesses, but in real estate, you fall into a housing category. Okay. And because of a long history the United States has of discrimination in housing based on different demographic characteristics, Facebook got sued for allowing companies in housing to advertise, for example, to one age group, but not to another age group, or to one zip code, but not to another zip code, or, because it's discrimination. Now, if you ask me, targeting an ad is not discrimination against those that you don't target, but
right.
That's the courts did not agree with me on that one. And, we have some restrictions now. So believe it or not, you can't really target by those things. So there's lots of other things you do. So what we focus on mostly, you could say there's like demographic targeting and how you speak different to different demographics and stuff. A lot of our targeting and messaging is all built around psychographics. We're looking for people that are in different situations, have certain motivations, certain desires, goals, etc. And we speak to that. And you'd be surprised that even people who are older or younger or in one location or in a different location or whatever the case is, the psychographics correlate much more strongly with response than most demographic factors.
Wow. That's cool. I love that. One of the social networks that's really blowing up right now is TikTok. And I don't know if your company is starting to look into it. I know it's a trend that I would say, is coming out of its teenage years as the kind of the other generations jump on. It's now the number one visited website. There's advertising on there, multiple different ways you can do advertising on there. Is it some of your digital marketing campaigns? Are we starting to look at TikTok? Is it a place where wholesalers and those in the real estate investing world need to be spending time or should start thinking about it? What's kind of your take on TikTok and the rest of them?
Yeah, my opinion is it's going to get a lot more attractive over time. I think as of right now, my hypothesis is it's a little bit early for this particular industry, just because a lot of that core motivated seller demographic is just not super aligned with the demographic that's on TikTok.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, it's becoming more and more so that way.
Yeah.
So when we're exploring, different additional marketing channels and stuff like that, we're always kind of trying to put it in priority. TikTok is on that list, but it's going to be, honestly, probably at least a year before we really start to experiment pretty heavily there. Some other places where we are experimenting that do kind of have, in my opinion, a lot of the right demographic already and just need to crack the code a little bit better is like, for example, YouTube. Which YouTube maybe a little bit less so. There's a channel called Programmatic OTT, which is basically streaming ads. They give it like TV ads, but for people that have smart TVs, which is skewing more and more old over time.
Interesting.
And like Nextdoor app, for example, another good example of a place where you can run ads that has kind of the right kind of demographic of homeowners.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Nextdoor.
That's a few things we're experimenting with.
Yeah. And that's what I love. And I think that's one of the reasons why, if you are a wholesaler or you are out there looking for leads to, have a company like yours who this is your sole focus, right? Your sole focus is to be thinking about where can I go? Where are those acquisitions? Where are we starting to explore new opportunities, and what are the tried and true things that we know work that we can stick through and support a company out? So I appreciate that as well. If people want to learn more about you, your business, want to reach out, where's a good place for them to go?
So BatemanCollective.com is probably the best place. That's BATEMAN collective.com. And yeah, on that page, you can of course learn a little bit more about us as a company, but you can also reach out and have a strategy call with someone on our team. If you're unsure if this could work for you, or if you're a good fit for digital marketing or whatever the case is, you can feel free to go that direction.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brandon, for spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it. We'll make sure we have links to all of Brandon's information in the show notes as well, so that if anybody wants to reach out and up your digital marketing campaign, I think it's one of those things that whether you like it or not, it's just here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's only growing, as these other markets kind of go down. When you have to decide whether or not you're going to spend money on digital marketing or putting an ad in the newspaper, I think you might want to skew one way more than the other these days. So, Brandon, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us today. Really appreciate it. And we'll hopefully chat again soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.